Hello, happy Monday. How are you all doing today? I am solo at the moment as we await the arrival of Miss Rabell, who is on her way, I hope. So Kristen, if you're in the car listening, hit the gas pedal a little harder. So either that or she's tricked me into dressing up for Halloween and she's not going to show up with me, which would not be cool. So she had us dress up as characters from Wicked, which is basically the story of the Wizard of Oz. And so I am the Wicked Witch of the West. And I believe the name is pronounced Elphila. But she'll get here and test. But I'll wear my hat when she gets back. And I even brought, hold on, my ruby red slippers for the day. So I am the Wicked Witch of the West. And we are waiting on Kristen to see who she dressed up as. While we wait for her, let's go ahead and jump in and talk about your Monday market moment. All right, so in the month of October, we're still seeing a trend of more homes going under contract or selling than are coming on the market. So far in the month of October, we've had 232 listings hit the market. And then pending sales, we have 368. So that's quite a jump. Now, some of those that are in the pending have also come on the market in October. So you are seeing a great number of closings. And then today is the, 26th of October. And we've had 282 closings so far this month. And that's just what's been recorded in the Gainesville-Alachua County Association of Realtors. We're seeing lots of activity out there, buyer activities, buyer calls. So we're getting good traffic. I could tell you that we listed a home over the weekend and had multiple offers within 2 days. And we're talking 3 or 4 offers at a time. So there are definitely price points that are still moving and selling out there. So if you're thinking about selling your home or listing your home, it's certainly a good time to start talking about it. We're already talking with people who are looking at coming on the market starting in January and some in November as well. But a lot of people who are looking at that January, February, March timeframe. So if you're a buyer in the market, don't feel discouraged. Listings are coming. They just haven't hit the market yet. If you're looking for something particular, right here, Duffy, here's my hat. It doesn't fit over. My head's too big with the earphones on, so there we go. So if you like it, give me a thumbs up, Duffy. So if you're thinking about selling or buying, give us a call. We're happy to talk with you guys. Buyers, don't feel discouraged. Listings are coming, but you do definitely want to be paired with a great realtor from our team to make sure that you're getting quick, fast, knowledgeable service. And for you sellers out there, the prices are still holding steady. I was reading some articles over the weekend that were discussing, where buyers' mindsets were. If they were, continuing to see a push forward, which we are because interest rates are staying low. Obviously, we're getting close to the election. So some people have pulled back from the market or are waiting to see what happens. I would say the biggest contributor to lack of inventory right now is in that middle section. So kind of not necessarily your first home buyers are sort of in that because you've got people who own their first home that are looking to move up into their next home. Thank you, Duffy. And they're moving up into their next home, but they're afraid to sell because they haven't found the next home yet. So there's definitely going to be more listings out there. We're seeing new construction is going through the roof in terms of interest and buyers out there. And the good news on that is, I know we talked about a month and a half ago about how new construction pricing was rising at a rapid rate because construction materials were going up. But the good news is that those have started to level off, and we're expected to see them start trending downward again, starting probably around December, January. So that will be good news for the construction industry. So it's really interesting to do this by yourself. All right, so I guess the next thing that we were going to talk about, and I'll save this for when Kristen gets here, if anybody follows us on Facebook or Instagram, then you know that we went to Lake Tahoe for 5 days. My family went. Kristen went with her sister to celebrate a friend of ours and colleague's birthday, Mr. Robert Filial with Annie Mac Mortgage. He's entered a new decade, and I'm sure it will be just as great as the last. And anyways, so we went to Lake Tahoe, and we started researching about the area because we found it pretty interesting. And basically, some of the stuff that we found was that people are starting to move out of there, and it's partly to do with the fact that, with coronavirus or COVID, basically people are finding out that they can do their job almost anywhere. Now, there are some jobs that doesn't apply to, but a lot of jobs they're realizing they don't have to work in an office building anymore. So they're selling the articles that we're specifically going to talk about, and we might do that after the break, that they're talking about people from California, Nevada. They're selling their homes in the cities, and they're actually going to Tahoe. So people are looking for more of a quality of life where they have different types of experiences. If you've ever been to Lake Tahoe, you know it's a gorgeous area with a pretty abundant amount of things to do. I'm going to say they have beaches. They're definitely not like our beaches. They have pebbles, and then they have like a really gritty sand. But they're still beautiful, and the water is cold. But, you got to love what the Northerners love too sometimes. So anyways, I got to go to their beach, and I did get to wear my jacket while I was sitting there because it was quite chilly. But it is a beautiful area. So people are leaving where they were. So the slide on the screen says Work Anywhere Shift has tech crowd invading Lake Tahoe. So this one was sourced from September 18th, 2020. I actually have 3 articles that I pulled, and they're all starting basically in the summer. So you have July, August, September, and I have one from October to where they're really seeing a push of people moving out of big city life and into a more country setting. Yes, I agree. Lake Tahoe is beautiful, Michelle. You're seeing that shift of people. So what is that going to mean for their market? What is that going to mean for the cities that they're leaving? Are there going to be move-up buyers that come in and take these homes over? We're seeing a lot of that in Florida, I feel like, as well, where people are moving from up north down to Florida. I think what was the projected estimate? I think 1,000 people a day were moving to the state of Florida. That's a lot of people to have moving down here now there. And we're also seeing people from South Florida move up here. I could tell you the last couple closings I've had have been people moving to the area looking for a better life. Obviously, when we were shut down, it wasn't quite so bad. And sorry, Miss Rabell has entered the building, and we will see her momentarily. And anyways, so we're seeing people move here, and it's been quite nice because it's been great for our local sellers and builders because we're having more new construction, more buyers coming to the area. I think the 10-year plan for Gainesville had originally 10,000 beds coming. Now that includes apartments and housing developments and communities that were in the works. So it's hard to imagine 10,000 people moving here in 10 years that would all need to own a home. But with coronavirus and people realizing that the quality of life isn't so bad in Florida, or our area of Florida particularly, because we're close proximity to beaches, trails, waterways, recreational things to do that get you outside, we are seeing an uptick in that. So that is great. What does this mean if you're selling your home? I would say that you want to start touching up the paint, getting the yard beautified, which is, I know, hard this time of year because it goes from being 65 degrees to 95 degrees all in the same day. But getting the home ready to sell. We do offer staging consults if you have questions on how to place your furniture or things that we can do. And we'll get back with that. So we're going to give Kristen a moment to get finished and on screen, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Our philosophy to help our realtors grow their brands is to let them be themselves. We're not a corporation. We don't want to make it stuffy for them. We want them to grow with their best capabilities.
The resources at Rabell include things such as daily, weekly, and monthly trainings and classes available to our agents. Everything is there for them, ready to go.
I feel like I've grown exponentially professionally due to the training that I've received here and the opportunity to move forward at my own pace.
Since working here at Rabell, I think I've grown professionally. I've learned a lot from our leaderships, and I think I've learned a lot more from my customers, and it's taught me, what to do and how to treat people and how to be a better agent.
Welcome back.
I made it. Sorry, I had a date with Prince Charming, and all the munchkins needed to have me answer questions for them. But I'm back. Linda, the Good Witch, or Kristen and Rebecca.
There you go. So you've got the Wicked Witch and the Good Witch. I do want to talk
But we are
really
best
quickly.
friends.
That's true. We're friends. So I do want to talk really quickly about the house that we just showed during the break. That was built by Golden Hammer Construction. It was a custom build out in the gated community of Peyton's Preserve. Golden Hammer Construction does have 3 lots left out there, and they're ready to talk to you if you're looking to build in the next 12 months or so. So we do have 3 lots left in that community. It is gated, and then we do have 1 other home for sale out there as well. So almost sold out in less than 18 months, and so it's been quite popular.
Well, let's talk about this neighborhood, actually.
Yes.
You have very little inventory left.
Yep, we
or
started
lots
with
left.
34 lots, and we managed to sell all of them except for the 3 that Golden Hammer have left,
Right.
and we have 1 spec home with duration, and that's it. And
So
then the
2
neighborhood will be done.
builders, 2 amazing builders out there.
2 great builders.
What's the lot size?
The lot size is a half acre for everybody. So good sized lot, not close to your neighbor, but close enough that you get to know everybody.
Now, is it High Springs schools or?
It is
Alachua
it is actually zoned Alachua schools, but this is the most interesting part of the neighborhood to me. So you are actually within the municipality or city limits of the city of High Springs, but you have an Alachua address. So
And Alachua schools.
yes, and Alachua schools.
Beautiful.
So yeah, beautiful house, beautiful area. They do great finishes. They work with you every step of the way to make sure that you're getting exactly what you're looking for. And I was really excited to see this one come together.
It is truly gorgeous.
Yep,
Yes.
4
And
bedrooms, 3 bathrooms.
I
so.
do know he also loves to build in the lakes. On
Yes.
Lake Melrose, Lake
Yes.
Santa Fe.
Yep, Lake Santa Fe.
Yeah.
They've got several custom homes going up. So if you are out there, you've probably seen some of their homes going up. So we've been talking about Lake Tahoe.
Yes. That's
And,
such a beautiful place, such a fun trip.
Oh yes, we had a great time celebrating our friend. There we are in front of these enormous trees
Sequoia
that they have
trees.
out there.
I did become a tree hugger when I was there.
I know.
have to
I
tell you
love that. Go check out her Facebook page and you can see the trees that she's hugging out there.
They
But
were sugar pines, the largest
They're
pine that I've ever
huge.
seen. They're just as big as these sequoia trees. So
They're
everybody talks about the
enormous.
sequoias, but not the huge sugar pines.
I know. It's bizarre when you drive through the terrain out there to be like, the trees are just, I don't know how to describe it other than enormous. Like you could drive a car through these things. So it's quite interesting to see that when we're used to seeing skinny palm trees and live oaks.
And conversely, our squirrels that are like the size of small cats here were tiny little, their squirrels were like tiny little chipmunks.
They're
I thought
fit.
they were the cutest little thing ever. But I don't know if you saw that. It said that it wasn't like COVID, but you could get a disease if you got bit by a squirrel.
I
The
did see
plague.
signs.
It was the plague.
Oh, the plague?
Be careful for the plague, so don't play with the cute little chipmunk squirrels.
That's
You could get the
interesting.
plague.
When we were walking to Baldwin Beach, there was a sign with the squirrels, and it said, "Don't feed or pet the rodents." But it looked like a squirrel. So, anyways, that's interesting. So we will be putting up on the blog. I of course, because we're in real estate, we have to grab all the real estate magazines while we're out there. So we'll put this up on the blog so you can see their home styles are so different from ours. Lots of A-frame housing, lots of homes built into the sides of cliffs. We took some pictures while we were out there of the homes so that you could have a chance to see them, because I think it is neat to see how people live and what architecture looks like in
Right.
other areas.
When people come here, they're so shocked to see all of the older ranch-style homes.
Yeah.
Or not enough brick here, or we don't have quite so many A-frames, but there the A-frames were rampant. Probably a different kind of wood that they used.
Yes. Yeah, my kids were asking me questions about the housing. I think you and I talked about it too. Just, what was it made out of? And everything is so different out there. The weather is very dry, so God bless you if you live out west, because I was so glad what was the first thing I said when I got off the plane?
Moisturizer.
I know. I was like, when we got off the plane, I'm like, thank God we're back in the
We're
humidity.
so happy for the humidity here.
Yeah, because it makes you just feel dry.
Dry.
So we've been talking about outdoorsy remote workers find home in Tahoe. This is the story I just mentioned. It was in October 2020, basically talking about how people are fleeing the area, going to these more kind of luxury resort towns because they're finding that their quality of life is actually better. They can get a house, they can be outside, they don't need as much house.
Well, so I read an article from 2018 that started this, that people they could not find affordable homes in, say, San Francisco, because that's so close to Lake Tahoe area. So they were realizing that they could buy in this touristy area instead of living right outside of San Francisco, and basically do everything that they thought they could do. You could only do in San Francisco. You could actually do it even more in Lake Tahoe. So that's why they're picking these locations. And then COVID hit this year, and now people are realizing they don't even have to be at work.
Thank you, Jamie.
And thank you, Holly, also. They don't have to be at work on site. They can work from home, and so now they're fleeing even more. And I actually spoke to a massage therapist there who's lived there for like 30 years, and she was from San Francisco, and she's a little worried about that, but she does remember back in 2000 when all the tech startups happened and came to San Francisco, and San Francisco really changed. And she said it's going to be the same thing. It's going to change how we live and who lives here, but it's really not a bad thing because it's bringing more people who live here rather than just tourists. So you can't, you just have to be open to the change rather than fear it. And she really saying that hit me really hard. It's like, that's a good thought to have.
Well, areas are always changing. I think that's part of it. I mean, I know I saw Harvey Ward, one of the city commissioners, put I don't know what you call that, like an article, I guess you would call it, but it was more of an opinion piece out in the Sun over the weekend to talk about what changes he would like to see come to Gainesville. And then I was actually reading, so I mean, change is inevitable. It's going to happen in every town. And then I was reading an article literally earlier today, so that's why it's not on here, about how a group of the 10 largest landlords in the country have gotten together and filed, I believe it was 10,000 evictions as they prepare for the moratorium to end. So I think the way we see people live will change some. And what we see happen with investment properties. I know I've been watching investment properties within the city limits of Gainesville because they have the new renters' rights coming out, and that'll be rolling out here very shortly.
And a lot of people are deciding, let me fix my crown.
We're going to tell you why
A
we're
lot of-
dressed up also very soon.
A lot of people are also deciding, investors, to sell their homes that are in the city limits because of these rules coming up, and really buying in Alachua and Newberry and the surrounding towns, which is really great because these places need more rentals, because as well as just what we talked about in San Francisco, people in Gainesville are realizing, oh, I can live in the outskirts for a little cheaper, renters and owners, and live out there and, you know, be away from the sort of the hustle and bustle of Gainesville even. And so that's actually a really great thing for us, because I know that we're always looking for rentals in those outskirt areas. Mm-hmm.
So if you're thinking about listing your home for rent, call Kai at K&R Property Management, and he'll get you set up with that. One of our other little companies. So, okay, so Tahoe, great experience. What was your favorite thing about Tahoe? And then I'm going to tell you my favorite thing about traveling with you.
Okay. Are we going to tell a fun story?
Sure. I'm going to tell you, you could tell that story, but I'm going to just say my favorite thing about traveling with Kristen is that no matter where we go, whether it's a conference for real estate or a fun experience for travel, she makes friends with somebody, like connects with them, and it gets their story. Usually it's a driver or a massage therapist or a waiter that she connects
when I get in
with
the
people.
Uber car, I'll usually sit, or at the Lyft, I'll typically sit in the front seat and ask them questions. And we actually, I'll tell this story. We may as well. I know we only have 30 minutes today. But so my favorite thing about Lake Tahoe is that I just love California. I love the mountains and the lake, which looks like a beach. It was absolutely gorgeous. There's folklore there. There was a castle there, an area called Viking's Home, because there was someone from Switzerland that moved there and built this castle. And we didn't get to go into the museum that was the original home, but because it's closed during the season. But I mean, I want to go back in summer. I want to go back, maybe not too much winter, because I am not a snow girl. But I love the fact that you could be out and pretty much any time of the year and be doing something, because they have the ski season and they have the paddle boat, swim, kayak season. So love that. But I don't know if you've ever met anyone more adventurous than myself. And I don't mean to be adventurous, okay? So we go to Lake Tahoe to celebrate Robert Filial's birthday. I'll just say it right there. So she does, yeah. See, Holly remembers. And Susan didn't come with us, or Mason. So I met my sister, who lives in Vegas. She only had like a 1 hour of flight up into Reno, where I picked her up and then came up with me. And we decided to go hiking on our own on Saturday. And the massage therapist told me, do not go hiking late in the day on Saturday. It is completely insane. Clueless. I didn't listen to her. I know I made friends with her, and she's even emailing me already. But I did not listen, and we show up around 11 o'clock, and the entire mountain, which is one of those scary, curvaceous mountains that you think you're going to fall off.
With no railings on the side.
No railings on the side. I almost puked the first time driving with Troy. And so we don't know where to park, because there's literally hundreds of thousands of people there, and they're all parked on the side of the mountain. So after, 30 minutes of driving around, we said, let's just go ahead and park with them. So we park on the side of the mountain, and on the way down, I thought I should have gotten a picture so we knew where we were, and also to show like how crazy that parking job was. And then a little while later, we see a sign that says, if you're towed, call this number. And as I pass it, I also thought I should take a picture of that, just to make it easier on me. So we go down the mountain. We spend like 4 hours walking around, taking pictures of Jenny doing yoga poses on the rock, on rocks and bridges and things, because she's a yoga instructor. And we walk back up. It's getting cold. It's later, it's midday, I should say. And we pass a car that looks like a car we parked behind, and we realize we've gone too far. And we both realize we've probably been towed, and it's a rental. This is my adventure story.
If you've never had a rental towed, you're about to get an education, yes. Because I did not know this either.
These are some things, I've even looked them up to check them. But so she calls the Uber guy just to get us off that mountain. And we are in areas where we have to walk to find the reception, because, again, in the mountain, you don't always have reception. And in the meanwhile, I'm trying to call Avis, who I rented the car from. And I keep getting a call center who's not at Avis, and they have no clue about anything. And they keep telling me you call this other number, not transferring it to me, but calling the other number. So it's claims and all these others. So I call, everybody's closed. Avis is closed. It's great. I call again, the 1-800 number, and another guy from the call center answers. And he basically starts yelling at me. Meanwhile, Jenny has the Uber guy driving up, but we're like 40 minutes from Lake Tahoe, the city, the town. And so we're waiting for him. And then in the meanwhile, we've also called the California Highway Patrol Center and, and pretty much everyone we could think of to help us. We find out who the tow company is, we call them. We have Jenny's purse, her license. Mind you, we're both getting on a plane the next day, me to go back to Florida, her to go back to Nevada, to Las Vegas. So, we need her license, we need the car. So fast forward many minutes later, Uber guy shows up. We go get the stuff out of the tow company. They're about 20 minutes away. They told me it takes 2.5 hours, or it took 2.5 hours to get my car, so they could like double charge me. It was horrible. But the Uber driver the whole time, he's like, I was raised by women. I'll take care of you. Don't worry. What do you need? It was 2:40 by that point, and Avis was closing, and we were going to get another car so we could drive back to Reno to fly the next day. And Jenny just happens to ask, because we know we're not going to make it. We're like 35 minutes away. And she says, can you drive Kristen tomorrow at 6 a.m. to Reno, which is an hour away? And he did. He said, yes, I will take care of you. So he ended up driving us around, showing us around Lake Tahoe, telling us all the stories, spent quite a while with him, found a really great restaurant that he took us to. He texted us throughout the night to make sure we were okay and we had food. And in the morning at 6 o'clock, he picked me up and 2 other people we traveled with who did not have an Uber, and drove us to Reno, and we got to the airlines online.
But the important lesson is to learn that if your rental car gets towed, you can't claim to get the car out.
That's the part that, I was getting to make friends with the locals like Uber, because they could be so amazing like this. So I love him. Jerry, you're the best guy ever. Thank you so much for taking care of me and Jenny. And so with the lesson you learn is that they will not release the car to you because you don't own the car. They will only release it to the owner. So if you're borrowing a car and it gets towed, hopefully you can find the owner. And if you're renting, you have to go through the claims department, and they have to email the tow company to let them know to release it to you. But if it's on a weekend, the claims department is closed. And if you're traveling the next day, you can't pick it up. So luckily, Avis, the lady from Avis, when we called the local Avis, she said, don't worry, we will pick it up. You just have to call us on Monday. So Sindel called for me. Thank you, Sindel. And they will be picking up the car. I will probably have a huge hefty bill, but I just need more real estate to sell to pay this off. So if you have a house you want to sell, please list it with me.
Please send business to Kristen so she can afford her tow bill, because, nope. And then, not to be outdone, I went to dinner the next night and left my rental car keys in the car, and got out to the car and was like, oh, the keys are here. Somebody could have stolen it just right away. So, we're getting better at this travel thing.
And Avis did say they tow on that mountain. They tow their rental cars all the time. So I do think this tow company was a shyster company, or is a shyster company.
It sounds like it.
I think they were going after all of us with rental cars.
So let's talk about, we are having a Share Your Halloween Costumes with us. So we are dressed up as characters from Wicked, but we know you guys will be dressing up as you prepare for trick-or-treating, which, as I have not heard differently, is still on for Saturday for all the kids out there and young adults. So be safe. Make sure you've got your bright light on or flashlight as you're walking around the neighborhoods, and keep yourself safe. But we would like you guys to share our Facebook and send us your pictures so that we can have a voting system set up and ready to go for you guys. So send your costumes, send your kids. We have a couple of different cool prizes for you out there. And follow our page at Buy Sell Rebell so that you can find out what those prizes are going to be. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or as always, you can email Kristen and myself at info@buysellrebell.com. We are always looking for buyers, listings, and new team members. Have a great day. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next week on the Rabell Realty Group podcast.
I have to go back to the Munchkins now, so
yes.
Thank you.
Goodbye.